We should be live, I think. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is 9 a.m. here in 9 o'clock, 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a fun Thanksgiving Day stream. You like my... Oh, he forgot to do my thing. A fun Thanksgiving Day stream. Because it's Thanksgiving Day, guys. It is Thursday, November 28th, AD 2024, here in Los Angeles. Oh, look at that. And what's up to the YouTube people? Terry, Imperfect Citizen, Esoteric, Clayton, Los, Mark. Maybe I should just do this. Return? Where's return? I don't see it. If I just keep scrolling, it'll eventually come up. Hake wearing is the best Thanksgiving attire. People say that I should be wearing long sleeve t-shirts and not short sleeve t-shirts. And they may know better than I do. They may know better than I do. So pardon me if I look like a clown or a lame or something like that. Okay, but I'm not going to listen to you until I see it for myself. Maybe. Or until I realize I should listen to these people. What's up, Lizzie Long Toes? Nice to hear you. What's up, Jules Verne, Pastor Chatelet, Dawn? What will we cover today? You know what? What's wild? Pardon my delays here. What's wild is that the black on the inside White House, dark black on the inside White House, just cold, evil. I joke around like he's the second greatest president, Biden, because he was nice to Trump, or at least appeared to be nice to Trump. But he is encouraging the Ukraine to draft 18-year-olds. I don't feel like they should be necessarily drafting anybody, because I heard that the Ukrainian people, despite what my frequent guest, Dylan Burns says, they are not into fighting this evil war. Pardon this if it cusses. Cernovich says, podcasters, which includes my guest, Dylan Burns, who's over in the Ukraine, and academics and others on X insist that Ukrainians want to continue the war. In reality, they don't. They never did. It was all war propaganda from the globalists. Shame on you if you fell for it. And he quote tweets this person, Rob Lee, who says, Ukraine's problems, meanwhile, are worsening mainly because of manpower issues. The army is long out of willing recruits. So they're forced, conscripted, or whatever that means. I think conscripted means forced. And its mobilization campaign is falling short, recruiting barely 2/3 of their target. Sounds kind of like America. America has turned on the real American heroes, if you will, the real Americans. And so they are not able to, American military is unable to recruit enough Americans for our taste, or for their taste, in terms of our military. But anyway, he's worried about the situation. May become irretrievable by the spring. Wow, they're thinking all the way towards the spring time. Even bigger problem, the quality of the new recruits. Low quality recruits, and that's what we have in America too. Shout out to the veterans and the military people, but a lot of you guys are not high quality. The quality of Americans is pretty low. So that is a mess going on in the world, FYI. I'm going to talk about how I told you guys I like Mark Zuckerberg. hopefully I will talk about that. Mark Zuckerberg. Base Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, he's not a Christian. He doesn't have to be a Christian. You know? He doesn't know better. So I'll talk about that as well, hopefully. You want to hear it right now? Mark Zuckerberg is Michael Tracy, a liberal journalist, independent journalist on X, says it will be inspiring to see. I think he's being sarcastic, right? It will be inspiring to see how Mark Zuckerberg goes about becoming a supporter of and participant in the reform movement that Donald J. Trump is leading. Listen to this, and hopefully it's not excessively loud. Check this out, and then we'll get started with the show, guys. We'll get to your calls that coming in. I did promise that I'd get to some of you guys right away, and super chats that I didn't get to, but listen to he's in like my top 5, perhaps, or definitely top 10 favorite Jew. Stephen Miller. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's bright. Listen to this. He's on Fox News with that guy, this guy who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, blanking on his name, but listen to this.
Politico is reporting that Mark Zuckerberg was at Mar-a-Lago today meeting with President Trump. Can you confirm that?
Yes, that's correct. And Mark Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in this change that we're seeing all around America, all around the world with this reform movement that Donald Trump is leading.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, like so many business leaders, understand that President Trump is an agent of change, an agent of prosperity.
Right.
And so business leaders, CEOs, everywhere, they want to be an element, a supporter, a booster of making our economy prosperous, delivering for American workers, and making sure that America is the most powerful, wealthiest, freest nation on the face of the earth. So we'll see what comes of that. Yeah. And Mark, obviously, he has his own interests, and he has his own company, and he has his own agenda, but he's made clear that he wants to support the national renewal of America under President Trump's leadership.
I told you!
Good.
I told you! What's he saying?
It's good for the president. He turned the page with some talk show host on another channel, and he might be maybe getting over the fact that Zuckerbucks really impacted the 2020 election.
Whatever, man. I don't care about Zuckerbucks impacting the 2020. I like Mark Zuckerberg. Some of you guys don't. You guys have a real beef. Hake is my favorite Jew. Top 5 favorite Jews? Really, Hake? It might be in my top 5. Let's see. Who are my top 5 favorite Jews? Jesus. First favorite. Jesus is my best friend. And then, do they have to be alive? David. David's cool. Paul in the Bible. I like Paul. I don't care what you guys say. Jesse Lee Peterson. And then Stephen Miller. And then Netanyahu. And then Dennis Prager. And then these are how many is that? 7? That's enough. Hank is not Jewish. What the? By the way, it's Hake, H-A-K-E, not Hank. But I like Hank. It's fun. Unfortunately, if you go to thehankreport.com, I don't think that I own that one. Let's find out real quick, and then we'll get started with the show. Let's see. Did I spell it correctly? I don't think it's doing anything. Let me check over here. Oh, yeah. Thehankreport.com. Maybe I should purchase the domain. It might not be worth it, though. But anyway, so that's nice, right? That's nice. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. Look at that cute. Did you see the cute squirrel? Earl! Earl! Get over here. We are going to have a fun time today. I want to get right to a call. As promised, guys, Jaime in Minnesota is on the line here. Jaime, thank you for calling. And Holden Man, what's up? Are you there? Hopefully. Oh, hold on. My fault. Sorry about that. Jaime, go ahead.
Hey,
Hey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Congratulations on the elections.
Appreciate that. Has it really been that long since you and I have talked?
Well, I listen all the time, but
Nice.
so I wanted to talk to you about AI and its ability to write.
Okay.
Books, especially. I've been using it for book writing,
All right.
and I like it a lot. It's very creative. And a guy like me who can't do all the things like Stephen King can do,
Uh-huh.
it levels the playing field a lot. But not only that, you can get information and analyze statistics. So when a guy like Joe from Phoenix tells you about the 0.015%, you can look for yourself.
Through AI?
Through AI, yeah, if you're good at it.
You know
And
what?
it does take...
And did you fact check Joe from Phoenix with the AI thing? He's
fact-checked.
What's interesting is Joe from Phoenix is only counting the per year numbers every single year after year. And it's the FBI does not count all the crimes, all the violent crimes by a
Right.
long shot.
And
So he's way off on
you
his
can use
analysis.
AI to get through all that muck that the tricks that they do.
But AI has a liberal bias, so you have to be clever.
Yep.
Yeah,
It does
because
have a liberal bias.
Yeah, they
And
definitely.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've noticed that myself, but I do find workarounds
Oh, cool.
to that.
Yeah,
And
because
so, yeah, you're
AI
right, you have to get creative.
AI was made by liberals, and it has some false liberal values built into it, such as like diversity and stuff like that, and political correctness built into it, and they rely on mainstream media, most of which is dominated by dishonest liberals, emotional liberals, who are just getting worse and worse in their selectivity of what facts they report, and the way that they cast those supposed facts, and the way that they judge the truth of statements and things like that. So AI is no cure for the lies.
No, it isn't. It's
Yeah.
a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people around me, and they don't understand it. They can't use it. It's too complicated for them.
Okay.
Even young guys, younger than me.
Wow.
And I've always been a computer guy, and I always liked that kind of stuff. But I never got into the advanced stuff. This makes it much easier for guys like me who don't have the capacity to get technical. Because I got a full-time job. I got to work.
True.
But this does a lot of the heavy lifting for me. I got the creativity, the management. I know where I want to go with it, and this helps me do that.
Right on, man.
So I think, and those liberal leanings, I think they're going to go away. I don't know the future or anything, but with Trump coming back and with a lot of conservative leaders coming back, they're going to change that. And not only that, you can make your own AI if you got enough chutzpah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got enough of that, you can do it yourself.
Yeah. Nice.
The next 4 years is going to be beautiful if we get through it.
Because of Trump being in there and Elon Musk having a little bit of sway. Those guys are two good influences on the country, I believe, overall. Big time.
Looking back, I think it was great that Joe and Kamala got into power. I think it was a great thing for America. And the world, really.
And why do you say that?
It's so that they could oust themselves, so everybody can see. Now everybody knows what these people want.
Yeah.
And a guy like Trump, who came out, he went into the furnace, came out unscathed practically for the year.
Nice. True. You can't hold down a winner, and Trump is that.
No. And so, all the legal things, they're not sticking.
Right.
They're not going to stick.
Because they're phony to begin with, and Trump, being the winner that he is, doesn't back down, and that's inspiring to people, and that's why they voted for him, because they saw through the crap. Sorry, kids, but that's what it is.
That's right. And all the people that were, throwing rocks at him, they ought to apologize.
They should, yeah.
They ought to apologize talking about Joe.
They definitely ought to repent.
Yeah. Just to prove that they can be an honest person.
Yeah. Right.
Because
there are some honest people out there who, like I've said many times before, they're still liberals. They just don't know better, but they're honest deep down. They just didn't realize.
That's
so
right.
and they're nice.
And I think they're called the moderates on the left, the moderate left. I think a lot of them are going to repent and come back to reality.
You might be right. That would be nice. That would be nice. And there's a lot of people who are extremists, extreme left, who come back to reality. I heard that Thomas Sowell was a communist at one point. Thomas Sowell, and I believe that he came to his senses. Isn't this fun? I believe that Thomas Sowell came to his senses. So it's not just the moderates. Sometimes anybody from anywhere, from any lie, whether it's the moderate lie, whether it's the radical lie, whether it's the so-called far right, or the centrist, or the conservative, normie conservative, there's all sorts of people who are coming into the kingdom of heaven. I say.
Right, and they're going to either get booted out or deport themselves from that political thinking.
Yeah,
and find their own way.
True.
Like
that
that Bernie Sanders guy doesn't want to be Democrat no more.
Oh, well, I mean, he was an independent for a long time. I'm laughing because I'm looking at my video right now. I'm looking into the tunnel. But yeah, he called himself an independent for a long time. He's kind of old. He might wake up. He might. I don't want to judge him.
Well, I think he broke a deal with these guys, and he saw that he got a bad deal, and he's not falling for it no more. So good for him.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He got screwed out of a couple of elections.
Right, and he like bowed regardless. That's why I will never. Well, I don't want to say never, but I never. From the point that he. Look. Let me see if I can pull it up. From the point that Bernie Sanders surrendered the stage to loud BLM ladies, loud Black Lives Matter activists, disrupted his speech, and he gave them the stage like a kiss up and a coward. Ever since that point, I was like, oh, this guy's weak. He is no challenge to Trump, nor even to remember these gals? Look, that's them taking this mic. Look at her Christian cross, thinking she's Christian, supporting Black Lives Matter. Marissa Johnson, and Mara Jacqueline Williford, shouting and being fat and light-skinned black, sort of light-skinned, not that light-skinned, and being radical and being beside themselves in 2015, August 8th. At that point, I was like, Bernie is not real. He's fake. He's a kiss-up. Anyway,
well, and
we'll see.
One of the best things about this election is now the duct tape is off of everybody's mouths. People can speak now. They can say a lot of things that they didn't used to, 4 or 5 years ago you weren't able to say. The political correctness is coming off.
Trump and Elon are to thank in large part for that. That's not, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's not full-blown free speech. Trump is, censoring the college campuses who are for boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israel and all that stuff. But he has the spirit of the freedom of speech and the freedom to tell the truth, and that has changed the culture for the better. I agree with you, man.
And we can move forward with that. We got to earn it, though.
Yeah.
And we can't rest on our laurels just because Trump won and you got the Senate and the House of Representatives and all that. Don't rest on your laurels because these guys are waiting.
I know.
And they're devious and they're intelligent and they're mad.
I don't even say that we do have the Senate and the House because we don't. I say that probably those are dominated by rhinos. They're not dominated by people who are loyal to the country and loyal to Trump, who's loyal to the country. Right. You know what I mean? But, you're right. We shouldn't rest. Go ahead.
They got a lot of elections in another 2 years, and they saw that a lot of Democrats voted for Trump. And if they don't fly right and stick to the mandate, they're going to get ousted for some new guy.
Yeah, true.
But those liberals, those progressives, those far left people, they're still there. They haven't gone away yet, and they're not gonna. They're going to be with us forever.
Yeah.
So with AI, my point about AI is the layman, the working man, he can now create articles with his point of view, good quality ones, to
well written, huh?
Put down the liberal sounding board. The liberals, they can screech and scream and all that, but now the working man, the rural man, can write quality articles to combat what they're saying.
That's an interesting statement.
Yeah. Well, all right. Hey,
it's good to hear from you, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. And John from Kentucky. Kentucky John on the line here. Thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, man, I tried to call yesterday when you was talking about the myth of racism. You say blacks fall into, I think that's the way you worded it.
Okay.
The myth of racism. But, what do you call Mark? Is he not a racist?
No, I don't think he's a racist. He thinks he might think that he's a racist because he's into that. He's into race. But that's just a blindness. That's not his issue, nor is it his true motivation. He's motivated by ego and his view of what's right, which is just like you and it's just like me. So the reason why he's into race is because he's seen his race under attack, under cultural attack for the last however many years he's been alive or aware. And so
that makes him hate black people.
No, his ego makes him hate black people.
That's racist.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He has black people whom he loves. Jesse Lee Peterson.
No black people.
Yeah.
Man, don't believe that. Don't believe that.
Why wouldn't I believe it?
Because if Jesse had a different message, he wouldn't love Jesse.
Right, because so that tells you that it's the message that the black people bring.
Racism.
No, it's the message that black people bring and not the blackness of the black people.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with race. It's just the degeneracy of the blacks that he hates.
It definitely has to do with race, and that's all he talks about. So it definitely has to do with race.
Oh, okay. So you're just a blind, shallow person, no different from him.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm just letting you know, like, you believe all the racist stuff he says, but you don't believe when he says he's a racist, or the founding fathers are racist.
Name one racist thing he said.
When he opens his mouth, when he calls, that's racist. What is the first thing he says?
What?
But
what do you say?
When he said when he was trying to get you boycotted, he made a comment. He said, "I'm calling for all racists,
right?
All racists to boycott you." So who's he referring to when he says racist? Even though you don't believe racism,
his fellow blind whites who are into the race thing. His fellow blind whites who are into the race thing.
He's talking about the Klan. He's talking about skinheads. He's talking about. Why are you laughing?
Because the Klan, the boogeyman, the Klan hardly exists.
David Duke
is not in the Klan.
And all his followers.
Right, but he's not in the Klan, right? You know that, right?
He says he's not.
Right.
He says he's not.
What, you don't believe him?
You have to do that to get into politics. You know, he tried to get into politics. So
right,
he had to
I remember.
It, which was a lie. A lot of people are in those secret societies. They just can't come out because of political correctness. They can't come out. I
don't think most whites take the Klan seriously at all at this point. They might have liked the Klan when it first started after the Civil War, but that was a completely different Klan from the supposed Klan today.
Yeah, that's because of the way we are today. You know, you guys can't go out and put your sheets on and hang somebody in the backyard and get away with it no more. You can't do it.
Nor would most of us want to.
Most definitely. If Mark had his way,
you're projecting because that's what you like to do. Just because you like to.
That ain't what I like. No.
Yeah, you do. You would love that. You dream about it. You say that we're gonna. You say that we're gonna kill your white babies.
The Bible says, "Vengeance is mine," says the Lord.
The Klan too justify their beliefs with the Bible, and just like you. So you're no different. You're no different from the Klan. That's what the Klan says about you.
But, you know, I know the Bible and the Klan.
The Klan knows the Bible just as much as you.
No, heck no.
Yes, huh? You think you're a black Hebrew Israelite.
You guys whitewash the Bible, and that's why the Klan believe what they believe.
And you
call themselves Christian.
You
call themselves Christian.
You black muddied the Bible, and you call yourself an Israelite.
Black muddied the Bible.
Muddied meaning not like you're dirty. Just like muddied meaning, you know how the Bible thumpers will say, you keep sinning in the Bible. You keep sinning, but the Bible says you don't. They muddy it up. They make it clear as mud. Dark. You can't understand it.
Y'all's view of sin is made up, though. Like, y'all say playing God, which I still can't comprehend the playing God part. I just know in the Bible it says word for word that when you break the law, you're sinning. And you guys don't teach it that way for some reason. And it says it word for word, but you ignore it. You say playing God.
Right.
Don't understand it. But like I said, man, racism exists. I don't understand y'all's philosophy on saying that it doesn't exist. I believe that you try to take the power out of the word and you're trying to take some accountability.
There's honestly no power in that word.
Oh, yes, it is.
No.
Oh, yes.
It's only satanic. It's only satanic intimidation and satanic false guilt.
You guys can lose your job if you say something racist.
It's the devil's world. Satan is the false god of the people of this world. So they have their false values. Don't you find it odd? So don't you find it odd that the world is so worldly, so into the LGBT thing, and yet they're anti-racist? How do you figure that they get that part? Do you believe in the anti-racism? How do you figure that they get that part right, but everything else they're so evil about? Doesn't that make you question it?
Yeah, them white people are screwed up.
So then why do you believe in racism?
Because I know the history of America. It's rooted in racism.
No, you believe the communist version of American history.
It was about white supremacy. Y'all celebrating Thanksgiving today.
Yes, but happy Thanksgiving.
Y'all doing some type of y'all not celebrating the true Thanksgiving. Y'all celebrating the whitewashed, smiley face, we all can get along version.
Tamale?
Which is ridiculous. Huh?
Tamales are for Christmas.
Somali?
You said tamale-faced?
No, I said smiley face.
Oh,
You know
smiley-faced.
yeah,
My bad.
they have the Indians and the whites sitting at the table eating together.
That's right.
That is complete bull crap, and you know it.
I don't know that. I think it's beautiful. American
The history,
Indians.
You killed them all.
We did not kill
you
them
learned,
all. Well, then why are they alive
You learned
today?
from them. You learned from them. You took their seeds. You took their way of living. All right, okay, I gotta let you go, man.
Okay, nice talking with you.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.
Kentucky John. Kentucky John. Am I right? Joe in Phoenix, Arizona is on the line over here. Joe, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound great.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Kentucky John, you were close on a few items. Hake, there is only somewhere between 6 to 10 million Native Americans left, so they did almost kill them off.
How many were there when we came?
Haven't found that number yet, but I remember looking it up earlier. Let's just say exponentially more. So, I mean, they almost were killed off.
Wait, you're going to say exponentially more than 6 to 10 million American Indians were here? Exponentially more?
Well, sure.
You're exaggerating. Tell me that's an exaggeration.
Every state. No, they were in every what now are states, from Alaska to Florida.
And they were infighting. Some of them liked us. Some of them did not.
They were not all infighting, no.
Many of them were fighting. They were infighting. I did not say all. They were infighting. They were fighting amongst one another. Different tribes. See? Okay, then they were.
Some were. Yeah.
And then some of them liked us. Some of them did not.
Some of them got along with the settlers, yes.
Yes.
Some did not.
Right. So everything I just said is true, and you try to contradict it. Shameful.
There's a fascinating biography by Tecumseh. I don't know if you ever heard of Chief Tecumseh.
Spell
I
it.
always wondered why.
Spell it for me, please.
Tucumseh. Tecumseh. Fascinating chief. He tried to unite all the tribes.
Was he part white?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Because this drawing makes him look a little bit.
I don't believe so.
Tecumseh.
Now, Kentucky John. There's plenty of examples of the head Keystone Cop saying racist things. I won't go into it now because I have no interest in talking about him. But
you don't really get my point then, because why are you buying into the ideology of a blind person and calling it what he calls it?
Well, because when you have horrible ideas and judgments and beliefs about a group of people based upon their appearance.
It's not based on their appearance, though.
It is.
No, it's based on how they are.
No, it's not.
Yes,
That's where we strongly disagree.
Well, it's based on how all too many of them are. Put it that way.
And again, there, strongly disagree.
Okay, well, you can strongly disagree, but I'm right.
Oh, you're absolutely wrong. I'm right, but we're not going to agree on that, so let's move on.
Okay, let's do that.
So you were talking about the KKK.
Okay, yes.
I love documentaries. What I did not know, I mean, we talked before about how the Irish were depicted as monkeys and discriminated against, and just horrible discrimination when they first came over.
Are those rat dogs barking? Or is it rat dogs?
Huskies, James.
Okay, good.
Huskies.
Thank God. Huskies are better than Chihuahuas. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they came over because they were Catholic. They were devoted to their faith. They said they were smelly. They said they carried diseases. A lot of the same nonsense narratives and discrimination that many other immigrant groups faced. Let me get away from the dogs. They're going nuts here.
Uh-huh.
And what I didn't know, I mean, you've heard of the University of Notre Dame, right?
I have. The University of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Their mascot is the Fighting Irish.
All right.
the documentary I saw said that name originated from the Klan did a protest and a march in South Bend, Indiana, where the university was located, because they did not like the university representing Irish and Catholic people. And they had a march and a protest, and the students came out and fought the Klan for 3 days, James. 3 days. There was rioting in the streets and fighting and all that before the Klan finally relented and went away. So after that, supposedly, is when the name Fighting Irish came to be the mascot for the school.
Wow. Okay. That how many hundreds of years ago was that?
It was not hundreds. I think it was in the early 1900s.
Okay. So more than 100 years ago. Oops. Okay. More than 100 years ago. That's when that happened.
All right. So the Keystone Cop mindset applies to your Irish ancestors as well.
I barely have an Irish ancestor.
Distancing yourself, huh? Okay.
Well, you distance yourself from your white ancestors, don't you?
I do not. That's a good question. I forget who the caller was. Says, when someone's biracial, why do they always identify with their black side?
Right.
Well, because that's what the world tells them.
But why don't you overcome the world?
Well, I do.
Nice.
I've never identified with the color one way or the other.
Then how do you possibly think Obama was a good president?
Because the results clearly say so.
That's interesting. So then you say we dominated those American Indians. We did it.
Dominated?
Yeah. Didn't we dominate them?
I know you like the word. Don't like the word, but that is definitely an inno guide there.
What's inno guide?
That's terrible pig Latin for genocide.
Oh, don't. This is why I sometimes slip and call you a communist, because were you taught as a kid that it was a genocide?
Absolutely, I was.
You were? I was not taught that it was any type of genocide. I was taught that there were good and bad things that we did to the Indians.
Did you not read about the Trail of Tears? Did you not read about Andrew Jackson?
Yeah.
His Indian name was.
Those were examples of maybe bad things. I don't know.
Maybe bad things.
Yeah, I don't know if Andrew Jackson, but I said that there were good and bad things that we did with regard to the Indians.
Okay.
Including Sam Houston. He went and lived among the Indians as a 17-year-old, I think, if I remember right.
Sure.
And he tried to do right by the Indians. And Andrew
Clark supposedly were good to them also.
Who was?
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah. And so there was good and bad things. And Andrew Jackson was just one man, and he might not have entirely been wrong. And the American Indians did good and bad things towards us.
Towards us.
I might be part American Indian myself. I don't know. I seem to recall my father telling us that the doctors found American Indian blood in my grandpa, and so we marched around in the family room and said, "Hi-ya-ya-ya, hi-ya-ya-ya, hi-ya," because we were part American Indian, and we always loved and respected the American Indians. When it was cowboys versus Indians, it was not necessarily good guys and bad guys, because both sides had good and bad guys.
I find that hard to believe, but James, Manifest Destiny is rife with examples of kicking Indians off their lands, either killing them or putting them on reservations and just doing horrible, horrible things to them. And not to mention trying to stamp out their culture, their languages, separating them. I mean, you can go on and on and on, James.
I know, but you're looking at all the bad things. You're not looking at the good and bad things. And this is how life goes sometimes. Sometimes when you're taken over, you got to dominate. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but that's how life goes. They were doing evil things to us. Sometimes that provoked us to dominate them.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Really am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
How am I wrong?
Huge justification for evil, James.
I didn't justify any evil. But when you provoke a war, you get the
come
smack
and
put
steal
down
land
on.
and kill people.
Now you're
And they
saying
say, oh,
steal
well,
land.
we
There was
gotta
no
move.
land to steal. They didn't even believe in owning land.
Some did, some didn't.
Right. And sometimes
Oh,
we
geez.
didn't we buy land from them?
In a few cases, yes. Like
Yeah,
the
so why are
Delawares
you
with
leaving?
William
Say that again?
Penn. The Delaware tribe and William Penn, yes.
Yeah, where's the Louisiana Purchase? That was France.
That was
French,
France,
huh?
yeah.
So anyway, like that was the time, and there's no guilt about it. There's not necessary. You weren't there. You don't know what the ins and outs of what was going on, but yet you want to cast it as though the whites, well documented by communists. You don't have the full truth.
Communists.
There are. Only communists call it genocide. Literally, only communists call it genocide, and now you're repeating it.
He just called communist.
Like a useful idiot.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever heard of the People's History of the United States? Something like that?
I have heard of that, yeah.
It's written by a communist, Zinn. Not a Christian, by the way. An evil person.
Doesn't surprise me by the title.
Yeah. Howard
But
Zinn.
anyway.
And Trump was trying to correct the record on that stuff. But you keep on repeating that
Notre
mess.
Dame.
Go ahead.
James, it's just history. It's just history.
It's not real history. History is fake news.
Well documented, uncontroverted history.
Fake news. It is controverted.
James, you have someone who says you have no idea about history.
Nobody calls it, nobody until the last 20 years called it a genocide. Only the very fringe people called it a genocide.
That is absolutely wrong. I learned coming up in school that it was an absolute genocide, yeah.
Well, you went to a communist school, because when I was growing up, it was not. When my parents were growing up, it was not called a genocide. Trump doesn't call it a genocide. You're not an honest person. You just believe in the white smears. And you can't stand to move, and you can't stand to move on. Interestingly.
Okay, here's an olive branch, because many Buffalo soldiers were instrumental in the Indian Wars, killing the Native Americans. So it wasn't just white people doing that.
Right. And Indian wars, it takes two to have a war. We're not just gonna kill a peaceful tribe for nothing.
Oh, that happened. Absolutely, it happened.
I'm sure it happened, but in general, that's not what happened.
Well, again,
you don't want to give any responsibility for the American Indians, how they were. Merciless. They were called merciless Indian. They were called merciless Indian savages by the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence. You're interrupting me. You're interrupting me, Joe. They were called merciless Indian savages by the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence, used by the King of England against the Americans. True or false?
That did happen. That did happen, yes.
And that was not without reason that they were called merciless Indian savages who had no regard for women, children, old people, sick people.
In some cases, yeah.
Then tell the whole truth. Don't be calling it a dumb genocide.
I'm the one telling the truth. You're the one only seeing it from one side.
You haven't. No, I'm seeing it from both sides. Only do you acknowledge the other side when I have to cram it down your throat, and then you still call it a genocide. A genocide. Please.
I just gave you an olive branch that you ignored.
Because it's dumb. Blacks were owned by American Indians. We all know that everybody owned everybody. Everybody killed everybody. And so who cares?
It cares, James, because, again, these are people who are trying to fight to preserve their lives, their culture, their whole way of life.
That's all gone now.
Didn't work out for them. And
live in the present.
You can say that legacy is quite prevalent in today's reservations. I mean, reservations, if you've ever been to one, are desolate, horrible places for the most part.
That's their fault.
I don't know if I go that far.
It is. Their suicide is up. They're into money and power. The people, the Indian tribe leaders, they're into drinking and gambling and making money off of that and being bumps on a log. Their adolescent suicide is high. They're a mess. Their family situation's a mess.
Pretty bleak way of looking at it.
It's a real way of looking at it.
There's many positive signs. Too.
And they're
People
lost
fighting
in their
against that.
false identity as American Indians, as their different tribes.
You find this interesting.
All right.
A good buddy of mine is a higher up in an accounting firm, and he has some of the local reservations accounts. And yes, they are granted casinos. And what they're doing is they're taking that casino money and they are just buying up vast tracts of land, at least here in Arizona and the Four Corners area. They basically try to buy their land back, which is interesting.
Buy their land back?
Yep.
What a mess.
Yeah. So there are positive signs as well, James. It's not all just terrible. I mean,
I know there's some who are, there are
part.
some who've called it. I mean, there was a guest on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Charles Begay, Begay. I think it was Charles, and he talked about the suicide situation and the fact that a bunch of them were like identifying with the Democrats, and he left the Democrat Party because he realized that it's a mess, that this identity stuff is doing them no good.
Exactly my point about the Notre Dame story. So
I'm talking about identity as American Indians.
Well, but it goes back to the Klan as well.
Fair enough, but the Klan is like barely there. 100 years ago, okay.
It's still around. It's still around.
You can't even name one Klansman. It's just a boogeyman.
Why would I want to name a Klansman?
It's just a boogeyman. The Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Congressional Black Caucus. Oh, those people are way worse.
Equivalency. Those folks never hung or lynched anybody.
How do you know?
As far as I know.
Yeah, huh?
As far as I know.
They hanged themselves. Black Lives Matter is hanging themselves. They're depressed people who committed suicide, many of them, some of them.
I don't know about that.
It's a fact.
But,
I do.
The point being is that, James, is that, you or folks who think they're, exempt from their hatred and anger and violence. No, you're just one step away because, again, that was founded, you were somewhat right, founded after the Civil War to subjugate, the recently freed slaves, but then they expanded it to immigrants, Catholics, and many other groups. So if you're part of one of those groups that they hate, they're coming for you too.
Give me a break.
At least they would.
Oh, yeah, watch out for the Klan. I got to go, Joe.
All right.
All right.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye. Daniel in Texas is on the line over here. Daniel, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
How?
How? I remember that. How?
In honor of your people.
Yeah, because they're dignified people back in the day, or at least we portrayed them that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I know that you're part Indian, I'll be more careful.
Yeah, but I don't get offended.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about being scalped.
Right. I won't scalp you. Man, I don't even have the stomach to scalp anybody, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
That scalping is where you cut across the forehead and then you peel it back. You peel all the skin and everything back, and that's called scalping. Brutal. Shout out.
Yeah. It was their way of collecting trophies.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yep.
Indians.
Yes.
Who were they? What were they?
The going theory was that that the American Indians were Asians who came across between Russia and Alaska or something like that. Mongolia and Alaska, something.
Right.
And that's a theory. It's not proven, right?
Right.
And they came hundreds of years or maybe 1,000 years or who knows, beforehand. And that's about all I know.
The earliest records that we have of them come from the Spanish.
Okay.
And there may be records earlier than that are lesser known, but the more popular one would be Cabeza de Vaca's journey through America, and just after the discovery of the New World.
Cabeza de Vaca. Head of cow.
Head of cow. He was a Spaniard And so Cortez conquers Mexico in early 1500s, and less than, I think it was about 5 years later, Cabeza de Vaca makes the journey with it's the intent of finding more places that would be like what's in Mexico. What Cortez found in Mexico. So they launch from Cuba, and they shipwreck. And he writes a story about his adventure, which was recovering from a shipwreck on a failed expedition. And it's called Naufragios. So he has a first-hand account of his journey and his dealings with the natives from Florida all the way through Texas and New Mexico, and then south through Mexico. So that's kind of the earliest accounts, the earliest modern kind of accounts that we have of the types of people that lived here. And
that's by Cabeza de Vaca?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a first-hand account. It's an autobiography of his expedition. It was the Narvaez expedition. He was I think he was a treasurer, and they shipwrecked in Florida, and they had to rebuild their ships. Well, some of them stayed to rebuild the ships. They split the expedition into two. The other one went north of Florida towards Appalachia country and was lost forever. Nobody knows what happened to it.
Wow.
Cabeza de Vaca stayed with the group to rebuild the ships, and they sailed along the coast all the way to Galveston. So from Florida to Galveston.
And
they shipwrecked again in Galveston. And for 7 years, because they built these ships out of everything they had, including their clothes, they were naked when they lost the ships.
Whoa.
They lost everything. So when they land in Galveston, they're naked, and they spend the next 7 years trekking across Texas through New Mexico, down south to Mexico, naked.
Dang.
And the only way they're able to survive is because they're taken captive by the natives. And they're transferred from tribes to they're traded. And eventually, they escape. They have an opportunity. There's 4 of them left. So the expedition started with about maybe 40 people in total, then split into 2, half left and were lost forever, the other half stayed. It whittled down to 4 people. It was Cabeza de Vaca, a black slave, and 2 Spaniards, along with Cabeza de Vaca. They're all Spaniards, but they had a black slave. And what's interesting is the black slave, they all survived. And the only way they survive is by helping each other. And the black slave actually comes into prosperity. When he returns to Spain, he's chartered to go build haciendas and houses in New Mexico. And he does very well for himself there. So he's kind of the only one that has a good outcome throughout the rest of his life. The rest kind of end up in poverty.
Wow.
But Cabeza de Vaca's story is of tribes that were...
Was that Esteban?
Yeah, that's the slave.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
He did well for himself later in life, but the other ones kind of meandered.
Yeah.
But Cabeza de Vaca lived with these natives, and they escaped, and they got to a tribe that was not as violent as what they were used to, because they were typically used to seeing violent tribes.
Okay.
They were at the mercy of these tribes time and again.
Wow.
And they encountered a tribe that wasn't so aggressive. And they were able to heal a chief's son.
Wow.
The chief's son was sick. I'm not exactly sure how he was sick, but they were able to bring him back to health. And this won favor with this tribe. And the word started getting around to the other tribes that there would be these healers. So as they're going down south to Mexico, they garner this following, this huge following of these various tribes. And it culminates with them getting towards Mexico City and encountering a Spanish slaver who wants to take all these slaves. And Cabeza de Vaca, who has survived by the help of this group, convinces them not to take them as slaves, and the slaver says, "Okay, well, fine, but they can't stay here."
Wow.
So they all basically go back to where they came from. Cabeza de Vaca is granted passage all the way to Spain. Tells a story. Nobody believes him. Joe in Phoenix does not believe him.
Oh, Joe in Phoenix would believe him.
Yeah, he probably would. He's probably an offspring of Esteban.
he might be part Esteban. Esteban, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Esteban, I think.
Estebanico, the first African man to explore the Americas with Cabeza de Vaca. Nice.
So, Cabeza de Vaca's story is interesting because you do have a fair-skinned white man. You have a couple of Spaniards. You have a black, and you have a darker-skinned. I think Cabeza de Vaca was a little darker-skinned.
Okay.
But you did have two fair-skinned nobles. So you did kind of have this eclectic group exploring this new world for the first time.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Yeah. But the tribes, they were almost all nomadic. They all had different languages. Every tribe was different in their own ways, and some were more violent than others. And it's hard to even know if these are tribes that we know of today. You know, like when people say Comanche or Apache or Navajo, things like that.
Yeah.
Those tribes may not have even existed.
Wow. So those may have developed later?
They may have.
They were kind of like offshoots?
Yeah, because the what they had seen was that none of these people spoke the same language.
Wow. That's wild. And it's sort of similar to the Chinese. The Chinese had a bunch of different dialects, and there were a bunch of different tribes. So it could be that they were part Chinese people.
Yeah.
Or Asians or whatever. Very interesting.
A story of my own. Years back, I went to go into the desert, into a there was an area I needed to check out, and I got lost, and I was on an Apache reservation.
Yeah.
And they were very helpful in helping me find my way back.
Right on. Shout out to the Apaches.
Yeah. So.
Right
anyway.
on, man. See?
Yeah.
Joe in Phoenix doesn't want us getting along with the American Indians. I call them American Indians because it's like, but with the Indians. I grew up calling them Indians. And they called themselves that too. What's that?
Yeah, they go through phases. It's like they call themselves different things at different times. But I think American Indian is acceptable now.
Yeah. Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the story and the history lesson. Appreciate that, Daniel in Texas.
Okay, happy Thanksgiving.
You as well. Take care. Thank God for the white man writing things down. Or the Spanish, anyway. Whatever. Shout out. We're at the top of the hour, guys. I will get to your calls, the rest of your calls, but it's time for some super chats. Let me double check over on Streamlabs. Looks like we're pretty well caught up. I don't usually have to refresh that page, but I will anyway. But there were a bunch that came in over here on Buy Me a Coffee. Truck driver, Kelly from Oregon. Oh, Lord. And others. Based America First. Let me start from the bottom. Based America First. Bought a coffee. Happy Thanksgiving to Bond. Ask Big Bump tomorrow who's coming on tomorrow. That's right. Thank you, Based America First, for the reminder. Ask Big Bump tomorrow about his expectations for Doge. The coin or the Department of Government Efficiency? With no legal authority, will it influence an 80% reduction in government agencies? This does not mean an 80% reduction in government spending. Now, be aware. National debt is growing more than $3 trillion annually. Wow. And getting worse. When Obama was elected, it was like at $10 trillion. And then he brought it to like 20 trillion. Very rough numbers. Very rough numbers. Okay. And then Trump took it to like 30 trillion. Something. Trump took it high as well. And then Biden took it even worse. But Trump spent on good things, and he was going to bring it down in his next 4 years. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. National debt growing more than $3 trillion annually, getting worse, along with Social Security obligations, leaves little margin. Government has a huge incentive to push their interest rates down, but would Congress pay down the $36 trillion debt or spend more? What a mess. I think Congress would spend more because they are rhinos, not American. They're not American loyal people. Truck driver bought a coffee. Feliz dia de gracias, Señor Hake, says truck driver. Feliz, happy day of thanks, Señor Hake. Thank you, Señor truck driver. I have a few confessions to make. I was finally able to understand a Lin Yan Chin. He's misspelling it. Lian Ching. Hopefully that's not a bad word. Super chat when he spoke against the Snake Joe. Right on. Also, I can't get enough of the feud between the Snake and Mark. LOL. Lots of laughs. Hat tip to the late, great Irishman journalist, honest journalist, Colin Flaherty, who used to say lots of laughs instead of laughing out loud. And when I say my bag, it's a hat tip to Jesse Lee Peterson, because he always thought it was my bag. And you know how he says the G's and the K's and the C's, with a sound? A what sound? Sound. But, by the way, what do you make of Trump's picks? The only good one was RFK and Elon. The rest have been abysmal, like Rhino Marco Rubio. The only reason I kind of liked Rhino Marco Rubio was that he's tough on China, supposedly. Yeah, I didn't have high hopes for his picks. I didn't expect anything. I've hardly paid attention, honestly. Pete Hegseth was okay. Matt Gaetz was okay, but then he had to go with Pam Bondi. Didn't have to, but I don't know what really went down. But they did. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's better than those weak, rhino, pathetic, poser, politician, fat general betas who turned on him. Hopefully his picks are better than them from his first term. Mark Kelly, Mad Dog, James Mad Dog Mattis, lame-os. Who else? There were others ridiculous, lame politician generals. I call them politicians because the generals are just nothing more than lame, weak, rhino, communist politicians. I want to understand white rage. So he reads an anti-white book. Pastor Shadowley bought 3 coffees. Happy Thanksgiving, Hake friend. Whoa. I disavow friend. Because I was told that friend is short for far-right ethno-nationalist. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're supposed to disavow that. Just because Trump and Elon are in charge doesn't mean that Satan is not the god of this world anymore. Little Rock, It Man, says, Happy Thanksgiving, Baja Man. I wish Bond would get a fashion consultant. You would think listening to the Z one about fashion would be apparent. Anyway, are we happy with this shirt? Is this the final answer? I saw a lady in the chat say, hey, nice shirt, Hake. Might have been a boomer or a Gen Xer. You don't think Mark and Hayden aren't racist? Yeah, they're not racist. There's no such thing. You know in your heart he is. I know in my heart that racism isn't even a real thing. Doesn't even exist. It's just a thing that you want to call him to distance yourself from him, but you're no different from him. Whatever happened to that flag you used to show? Yeah, on my other computer there was a rebel flag, And I kept it on that computer. It's at home. Sometimes I'll take it to like Starbucks and stuff. I don't know if I've ever taken it to Starbucks. But anyway, I might have. Why can't you admit you don't like me? Because I do. Why makes you think that I don't like you? Once you openly say how you feel about me, you'll be rid of me. You're just like a woman. You'll make promises. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. This is my last super chat. This is my last coffee. You don't have to worry about me anymore. What a girl. I'm kidding around. Outside of tomorrow when I send a super chat to that slave, big bump. but you don't love me. If I love anybody, I love you. A dumb person once typed, women don't understand Christianity. They just babble and repeat and judge. I did say that. First of all, for you to type this with so many grammatical errors is not like you. Babble and repeat and judge. I was raised where you can say that with there's no grammar. There was one grammatical error. I should have put sorry, kids, don't read that word. I should have put a semicolon there. Women don't understand Christianity. Semicolon would have been more properly. Or a dash, a long dash, an M dash, or a period and a new sentence. They just babble and repeat and judge. But babble and repeat and judge, you can put ands with no commas, and you just go and forever. No commas necessary. That's how I was taught in like second grade. First of all, if you fix it. Second, what do you mean this message? Is your mother Mary not a Christian? Of course she's Christian. Do you try to correct her? I did ask her one thing that she did. You say things wrapped in evil and wonder why I challenge you. Once again, I love being the villain in your story. That's a blessing. I'm thankful for you, James. You're a band of... Cover your eyes, kids, because you never know what this person's going to say. You are a band of cowards, have a platform to be pansies. Especially the final frontier. Sofa King EU. Oh, oops. You tricked me. See, kids? Ask me 3 questions. And don't say you don't have anything that you want to ask because you've been speaking on my name lately. So just ask and I'll respond. The pithiest super chatter. Ha ha ha. Nice. I'll ask you later. But I don't have time right now. Carver bought a coffee. Happy Thanksgiving, Hake. Thanks, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you. The based smiley face emoji version of Thanksgiving is nice. The authentic historical version has the American Injuns. Well, he doesn't say Americans. He just put Injuns. Like Injun Joe. Injun Joe. Remember Injun Joe? Ruining the meal by bringing a dish of decapitated enemy tribes' heads to the table. No wonder we didn't invite them back next year. That's just unappetizing. Indeed. Thank you, Carver. Shout out to the American Indians. They are American now. Be American. And Terry bought a coffee. Happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrim. Happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrim. Please tell us what you're thankful for. I'm thankful for cool air in the studio. It's very nice. And I'm thankful to the callers for holding, perhaps patiently, perhaps impatiently, but waiting regardless. Also in Oregon is Kelly in Oregon. Kelly in Oregon, how you doing? Thank you for calling and holding.
Well, good morning.
Morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling to tell you I love your Scooby-Doo voice. I think it's great.
That's funny.
I just love it. I'm going to turn you up one sec.
Okay.
I'm
Sweet.
back with you. Let's see. So, I remember when I became filled with indignation over an incident involving the the Congress, and they were meeting one day, and I don't even know what year this was. And when the incident happened, I hadn't considered myself Democrat or Republican, but based on one incident, I classified myself as a Democrat to disassociate myself from the event.
Oh.
But we're all human, but I thought it was an interesting piece of our recent history, and I just thought I'd throw it out there. I have no opinion on it either way anymore, but I thought I'd throw it out there because at the time it was very provocative for me.
Yeah. Do you mind telling roughly what the incident was or what it had to do with?
Sure. It was just when Kissinger called the protesters that were storming the halls during a congressional whatever, he called them plebeians. And it just bothered me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that as a put down to Kissinger at all. It was just when I heard that, I decided, well, I'm going to put a D on my driver's license.
Henry Kissinger? Henry Kissinger. Is that Henry Kissinger that you're talking about, or who?
Yeah. I just not, yeah, that's who I mean.
And he was a Republican? He was a Republican in the Bush administration or something, right? Or one of those administrations.
I really don't remember.
Okay.
Sir. I just thought, it's just some of us may remember it, and I was just sharing that was the decisive moment
Plebeians.
that I decided, well, if I ever choose to vote.
Yeah.
But anyway, just thought I'd throw it out there.
So you judged that man for his arrogance against the people who were acting up in Congress.
It just
Yep.
it just filled me because of with great power comes great responsibility, and due to my personal ancestry, I just kind of always had a fallback position of being a Republican, but I've shared on your program that I was a soldier. So during my era of being a soldier, Gulf War era, a soldier is taught in basic training that whoever the president is your highest chain of command, so you don't question that. And it didn't matter my whole adult life if they were, what their party was or anything. It's just they were the king, and it didn't matter. You were so far down the chain of command that you're just part of the team. But when I heard that statement, being a soldier, I didn't like it. So I had a D put on my license, and now I'm a little uncomfortable because that silly little D, hopefully it won't mean that my family will not be able to eat.
Hopefully the Republicans aren't malicious like that. But I don't think so. I don't think it'll mean anything
either. And it's so far. I'm neither, by the way. I don't.
You're no longer Democrat nor Republican.
No.
Is that what you say?
What? Right. I mean, that is so far beyond my pay grade. I don't even care. I'm trying to get myself down to
a true lady.
Well, thank you, young man.
Yeah,
thank you, young man. That is so. That's one of the kindest things anyone said to me in a long time. Thank you.
Right on.
Let's see. I wrote myself a couple of notes so that I wouldn't stumble around.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving.
And thank you for the coffee. I read that privately because you told me not to read it publicly.
Yeah,
now, just so you're aware, it may inadvertently be shown on the screen here when I show the coffees, because I like to show the coffees as I read them.
That's why I covered my face, because I didn't have my hair done up, and it's just a personal belief that ladies should have their head covered if they
right
ever
on.
dare speak
That's in the
public,
Bible.
But
Now, there is no John 25. Are you trolling me?
me?
Yeah.
Well, I must have made a misquote. It's the last verse
Of the book of the whole book of John?
Yeah, yes.
So
And,
the last verse of John 21. Because I looked it up.
Uh-huh.
And it said Jesus did many things. I suppose if all of them were written down, there wouldn't be enough room for all the books that it would take.
That's it.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
All of this.
That
all of
just proves to you that the Word of God is so much bigger than the Bible.
Hopefully it proves to the Christians who are still drinking milk, who are not ready for meat, who are only able to consume through the written word of the King James Version, and they are not able to hear, I think they are not able to hear the highest power in songs like Barry Manilow's I Write the Songs.
Uh-huh.
Is that not an outside source? Do not those words, whoever the individual was who wrote those words, it wasn't Barry Manilow, but or maybe it was, but whoever wrote the words, sort of interview with Barry Manilow, he was thinking of his vision of the highest power when he sang it. So
okay.
That's just an example.
I'm not
contention.
that familiar with this song. I've heard of Barry Manilow. I was raised on Christian music. It says, "I've been alive forever. I wrote the very first song. I put the words and the melodies together. I am music, and I write the songs that make
May
the
I
whole
pause
world
you
sing."
for a moment?
Yeah.
May I do one line of a siren song on your program? I do not.
Yeah, real
want
quick.
to-
If it's short,
Okay.
go ahead. You said one line, right? Hopefully this line isn't long.
I put the words and the melodies together. I am music, and I write the song. Enough of that. But
That's Barry Manilow, huh?
yeah.
1975.
Yeah, and I think a lot of your listeners may relate to that. And
It sounds like it could be I hate to ruin it for you, but
no, you're not ruining anything.
if I
you're
say,
the leader.
you might not like what I say. It reminds me
I don't-
of what didn't Lucifer do the music for God or something like that?
Well, Lucifer wasn't he the third created angel? And at first he was wonderful. And all that, and wasn't that what it was all about? Is his jealousy?
Third the nerd.
That he was not in his position, was not high enough in the order of created beings. Oh, hey, that reminds me of something, Mr. Hake.
Yeah.
Jesus was a carpenter. Was not the Logos? Wasn't it, according to the Torah and all this, wasn't it God said, let there be light, and then there was light, which was his first creation, and then through that creation, everything else was made. So it's kind of a natural order to me, and so isn't that interesting that Jesus, according to the legend, was a carpenter. He was born, and his trade, earthly trade, was to build things. I just like that.
That's cool. I heard that he was a stone cutter.
Oh, he was probably all those things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about that all day, but I know you have a short show, and I just appreciate your time and that you allow me to get on here, and that I've re-listened to a few of my things, and at times I sound very passive-aggressive, and that's not my intent.
No worries.
Yeah, just keep on up with that Scooby-Doo voice. It's awesome. And, you have everybody, you all have a lovely Thanksgiving.
Nice. You as well. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Take care.
What was that? Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Wasn't that nice? Far left Google AI says there is evidence Jesus may have been a stonemason or stonemason rather than a carpenter. But the common understanding that he's a carpenter, blah, 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 whatever. Nice. And William in California is on the line over here. William, are you there?
Hey, what's happening, man? Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you. Same to you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, boy.
I'm looking forward to this sweet potato pie and this pumpkin pie that Hassan brought. Hassan, thank God, brought to us.
The dead has arisen.
Indeed.
Oh, my God, did he gain some weight?
You think so? Wow.
Yeah. That girl, he's got that beautiful black girl.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Because, you see how you get pulled in on black girls like you did Monday. You know, I keep telling you to go get you one. And how did that sweet potato pie taste versus that pumpkin pie?
You know what? Honestly, the sweet potato pie does taste a little bit better than, at least in this case, than the pumpkin pie. But the pumpkin pie tastes a little bit more sophisticated. Maybe because it has, maybe sugary. Sweet potato pie is like sort of more of a naturally sweeter. And then the pumpkin pie, I don't know if it has nutmeg or what, but it has a little bit of nice.
Nutmeg. It's nutmeg and vanilla. Which one did you like? Which one did you like the most?
Today, probably the sweet potato pie. Probably the sweet potato pie. But in general, I like them both. I couldn't tell you.
Because of you and the sisters, I would say you like the sweet potato pie. Now say it with your chest. Say it with your chest that you liked it. It was good. Say it was good.
It was tasty.
Say it tastes good. But say it with your chest.
Ah, man. That's funny.
Hey, Hassan is saying it with his chest, as you can see.
Right.
And, Jay, what's going on with the shirt, man?
What do you think of it? Does it work for me, or do I need to be... Oh, you're the one who told me to do long sleeve, huh?
Your personality on TV, man. Long sleeve. Watch. I mean, all you need is some pencils, a collection of pencils and pens in the pocket. Once you just complete it.
So I'm like a nerdy high school teacher or something?
Oh, well, yeah. Call wardrobe.
Yeah, that's funny.
Call wardrobe. You're doing all right, though, bro.
Appreciate it.
Kissinger was under the Nixon administration.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. He had influence on a bunch of them, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was calling out, your last caller was talking about him, I think, that voice, God. But look, that Henry Kissinger was calling out the hippies, basically.
Okay.
That's and he tried to, he did his best to, there was a lot going on at that time.
It's funny that the hippies became what they hated, because didn't the hippies become, now they're in the government, or they're some of them are retiring out of the government.
Yeah, they're getting older now. They're UC Berkeley, UCLA.
They are the establishment. They are what they hate.
They are the professors, and some of them are in politics now, as you know.
That's why the young and old should not despise one another.
Yeah,
because that's not right.
What's the guy that negotiated terribly with the Iranians? Kerry?
John Kerry? Oh, wow.
Yeah, John Kerry. Yeah, there's
under Obama. Under Obama?
There's film. Yeah, no, not under Obama. I'm talking about when he got out of the Army towards the end of the Vietnam War. There's film on him in those protests with those crazy hippies.
Wow.
Ironic enough, with his Army jacket on.
Shameful.
So, yeah,
Now, the hippies may not have been entirely wrong their whole spirit was evil, but but there may have been something wrong with like the Vietnam War. I don't know. I really like John Wayne from what little I know about him, but just like I was generally supportive of the Iraq War and all that stuff. I didn't know anything. I just knew that the liberals were against it, so I was kind of for it. Or I didn't want to go along with the trendy liberals because they were just dominating the culture.
Yeah, but see, no matter how you want to look at it, when this country goes to war, we're so far down the food chain. That's not our call. There's got to be some kind of reason for us going. I know World War II was one of the most important because, you know, we wouldn't be doing too good right now under Nazi Germany rule.
You don't think so? I mean, I disavow, of course, but...
Well, I'm just saying, you know, look what, you know, the Imperial, what was it used to be called the Empire of Japan.
You think Germany would have gone after us?
Well, it was Japan and Germany trying to, you know...
But had we not joined the war, then, and let it just be whatever it was, I wonder what would have happened.
We tried to.
But there was some play with this Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
There's some conspiracy theories about Pearl Harbor that I might somewhat believe.
Well, I think radar was kind of new. They knew that it was imminent that they would probably try something because we put sanctions on them, oil sanctions for messing around with China. We said, you know, you keep messing around with China, we're going to dry you up. And they did get dried up, and they attacked us for it, and we were forced into World War I. Because World War II. World War II didn't actually start in 41. It started in 30. You'd have to ask Mark. I think it was 38, 37, something like that. 39 maybe. So it was already going when we entered.
Yeah.
And we tried not to get involved because of World War I.
I think we got sucked into it because of emotions.
Got sucked into it because of the attack of Pearl Harbor, because you got to realize Hawaii was not a state at the time. It was a territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should go back to being a territory, maybe. Shout out to the Hawaiians.
They don't like to work. You ever been over there?
I don't blame them.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Hey, oh God, you haven't took my time. Okay. The George Soros thing, I think this administration is going to be targeting these judges and mayors and DAs. They're in trouble. It's just going to be, you know, they're going to try to put this thing back to normal.
That would be nice. Bring back law and order. Yeah.
Yeah. All those judges that Biden.
A lot of evil was allowed to run rampant by way of these DAs and evil liberal activist judges, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of people try to think, like I said before, they made the mistake of thinking that we were going to change our country over completely. We were close, but it didn't happen. And so now we got a lot of cleanup.
Yeah.
You know, but you need to go ahead and get you a black girl, man, and enjoy some of that sweet potato pie. I told you to look at those Israeli soldier girls. You look at those black girls over there. Yeah, fine. I think you'd like one of them. Go check it out. But no, on a serious note, John in Kentucky, you absolutely have nothing to do with the Klan. And you are not on their radar.
Yeah.
And most of the Klan, the actual Klan, is dead.
Right. That is so over. Give me a break.
And you or your ancestors or our ancestors were not stolen. They were purchased, and they were purchased by white people, and they were sold by black people.
Right.
Get it right. And that was so long ago. That young man, John in Kentucky, has nothing to do with any of the stuff that she's talking about. It's just to show you how bad that is.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a Hebrew. You're not Hebrew. You're not Hebrew.
Right. But shout out to John in Kentucky. I like the guy. I like how he conducts himself overall, even though he
conducts himself all right. But the stuff that comes out of his mouth is he accuses Mark as being a racist, and Mark is not a racist. The thing is Mark is just telling the truth. And you know the truth is not very popular.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's not very popular. The Klan has nothing to do with him or me or you.
That's right.
Let's
It's irrelevant.
The Klan only came along after slavery, if you really think about it, because they protested integration. They're more separatist than anything, just like the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
And Malcolm X.
The Klan were.
They preach separatism.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they started not to subjugate necessarily the blacks, maybe a little bit, but to deal with, like, there was a problem of, like, carpetbaggers. The original Klan, I'm talking about the one after the war. Carpetbaggers from the North coming in to take over and be politicians, and then, like, illiterate blacks being basically puppets for the carpetbaggers or Northerners. Kind of imposing on the Southern way of life, and it's not
exactly.
It's kind of understandable. I'm not even necessarily taking the side of the Southerners.
You're not saying.
I'm just saying that tell the whole story.
Tell the whole. There you go. Tell the whole story. And why is it that the blacks that were in the Deep South complain? You can ask Jesse this; he would know this. They complain less than these young people like John's age.
Yeah,
they did not complain about that stuff. Things were separate; they were not integrated, and eventually it was going to change anyway. It's just the problem was civil rights forced it on people, and people didn't like it. People didn't like that.
Yep, it's horrible.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you, man. Good to hear from you. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye. Man, oh man, I am so remiss in in my failure. I'm remiss in my duties to read the super chats from Rumble and from Cash App. I got traumatized from showing my Cash App because somebody, a little rocket man, bit my head off for showing his Cash App to me. You doxed my face. Lord. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean anything by it. Dawn says, Happy Thanksgiving, Hake. Since my promotion, I barely have time to hear their podcast, and listening live is going to be a treat, which will be on my days off. Hope you enjoy yourself today. I know what you mean, Dawn. That's how I was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I caught what I could, and I didn't worry about it if I couldn't. When I was just a fan as opposed to part of the show. You know, a producer. And I catch more of it now than I have in a long time because I help with the timestamps and notes and things. And so I try to pay attention rather than, like prepping for my show and stuff. Dawn says 2 million Indians in North America in the 1600s. So that doesn't sound like exponentially more than the millions that are in America today. 3 countries totaling 2 million. The truth never dies. And I don't know her source, bro. Dawn, a girl's idea? But according to her, 2 million American Indians. So they estimate. I don't know who's they, but interesting. FYI. I'm so kind of surprised that Joe from Phoenix would say, there's only such and such million. I don't know what he said. I wasn't paying attention. Or I would remember. Million American Indians. And shame on me not paying attention. Oh, there's exponentially more than that back in the whenever, before the white man came. Granted, 1600s, that's when we started really putting a foothold in. Dawn says, Trump didn't spend the $10 trillion. The pandemic sucked most of it out of us. Oh, we supposedly had to spend money like crazy with the virus, the overreaction to the China virus. Fair enough, I guess. I mean, granted, that might be a time to spend some money when some medical emergency encroaches on the older folks and the fatter, like less fit people. Not necessarily that fat. You didn't even necessarily have to be that fat to be in your 40s, a father, a Republican, and die. There was a Republican who was just like Hassan, or Hake a little bit, maybe less so today, but remember a few years ago, Hake's face was like this, and I didn't even realize it. The China virus could have taken Hake out, possibly. Although, I don't know. Probably not. But it got that guy. Terrible. And should I open up my Cash App, or should I just read it from here? I know I have one. I know I have a couple, actually. Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with the Rhino Tim Scott, a week ago, the 21st, said, don't disavow the donations. And he said it at 10:13 in the morning. That was an hour and 13 minutes into my show. And so I don't remember what I was covering on the 21st. But thank you, Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with the Black Rhino Tim Scott. This is the real black man, Tim Scott. Appreciate the support as always, man. And Curly also gave a Cash App tip with no comment back on Tuesday. And Little Rock, man, gave a Cash App tip for you. He says, you intentionally showed my face to get me jumped. No, you're reading into it. You're listening to what the devil is, your imagination. You don't have to call it the devil. You're listening to what your brain is telling you, and you're supposed to take every thought captive and not necessarily believe the worst of people's intentions when we are in a show and trying to show the super chats, and then I show your face, and how did you get jumped? You didn't get jumped. I wasn't thinking about getting you jumped, and whatever. Shout out to Radulaser over on the Twitch crew. We all know James is a boomer when it comes to this stuff. It wasn't on purpose. Exactly. Nice. And one more from the Z one. Should I show this? I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to read it because he violated my trust. Because you said sofa and then majesty. Okay, James, I'm going to trust you even though we both know you're a known liar. I hope the questions will be good. Did you ever read the Bible verse I sent the other day? I don't remember. I don't remember you sending the Bible verse the other day. I'll have to check. I want your thoughts, and I want you to know you want to follow those instructions. Oh, okay. Ben such and such and Cotton something were super active in the chats yesterday. I read some eye-opening things. Oh, okay. Another gossip listener. Remind me to look up the silent prayer again as they suggested. I loved that I tricked you. That legit made me laugh out loud. Serious question. What do you think about the so-called gay people? He didn't say so-called. I don't think much about them. But when I come across them, every now and then you see or hear somebody who is like that or claims to be like that or acts like that. I think insecure, especially when they're in your face about it, insecure. I want you to come to my wedding. Don't wear your Klan hood, and definitely nothing tan nor brown shirt-wise. And if you wear picture with your face, and with your face not one of those of you pointing at the sky or the one where you look bloated. Good grief. Wear something masculine like your desert pink shirt, laughing face emojis. Bye, James. May your food be burnt America first today. It's what you deserve. P.S. for William, and I too agree. You need to wear long sleeves. Tells you something. Get your life together. Nice. Thank you for this support, I guess. And the input. Very cool. Okay. Let's get to a call here, guys. Josh in Georgia's on the line. Josh, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Doing well as well. Thanks.
Cool, man. Yeah, I was calling. Well, first, let me say I was disappointed you don't wear your Confederate flag T-shirt anymore.
Yeah,
my shirt.
I've been straying away from it to be on I don't want to get banned. I don't, there's. Right.
Yeah.
And then plus, I don't tend to wear it in public, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I understand that. That was always my favorite shirt of yours.
I really like it.
I like that.
Yeah, the rebel flag. It's a shame
Yeah.
that the culture is so anti that, and they have such hatred for it. They read it as hatred when it's really projection. But some people, some of us, may react in hateful rebellion against it, and that's not the right way either. So there's wisdom, and there's it's a practical and a spiritual fear, because there's all kinds of things at play with that mess. But nice.
The real black people from the South, whose grandparents were from the South, and we like that flag.
Right. Yeah.
It's the Northern blacks, the California blacks, and all these other. They're not. I don't know. They're not as based in the South as like me. That guy Charleston White that was on Fallen State.
Yeah.
He loves the Confederate. He wear it all the time. And,
right.
I know a lot of blacks that love it.
Yep.
Ludacris used to wear it all the time. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, they used to wear it, but it became impolitically correct.
Yeah.
Back in 2004, 2005. So
there's a major. It's a major anti-white push, anti-South, anti-Southern push, and the Southerners and the whites are some of like the best people.
Yep.
They treat blacks the best. They treat blacks real, like Trump.
The race relations
Trump
are the
is
best,
not even that, but he treats blacks. The way that he treats blacks, real and decently, is how I picture how the Southerners are.
Yeah.
Overall, exceptions to the rule. Some of them are phonies.
A few, but for the most part, when I left the South, the Northern whites, they're more. I kind of like it. They're more, they're more cold and straightforward. Southerners are more, friendly.
Fake polite. Yeah.
Fake, yeah. Well, kind of fake, but basically.
They're trained to be polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Southern hospitality. You wave.
Right.
You wave at people you don't even know.
Yeah.
And you nod when you walk by somebody.
Which is cool. It kind of helps keep civilization a little bit, if outwardly only.
A polite society, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But, yeah. Anyways, I called about that comment you made about Thomas Sowell being the only... he used to be a communist.
Yeah.
Earlier. And is, I think all blacks, Clarence Thomas used to be a communist, right?
He was an educated fool, according to his grandpa.
Right.
Yep.
Jesse used to be a liberal.
Yep.
And is a liberal and a communist the same thing, would you say? Because I've seen people say...
I
say it's not.
I say pretty much. A lot of people say no. Some might not go as far as others, but it's all influenced by that communism. It's all. Let's just call it. They're of
feminism.
Lies. They're of lies. The whole ideology of liberalism, by and large, is of lies. Some of it you can say, okay, yeah, we shouldn't hate the gays, but they take it the opposite extreme to with that false love, which is also hate. But anyway,
yeah, exactly, and that's why you don't know. You see these far right people on Twitter, and they're against Trump, and what even we don't know who Tulsi Gabbard and RFK are now on Trump's team, so we don't know what right and left is. We don't know what liberal and conservative is no more.
Right, because because Trump is about what's right, and JLP too is about what's right, and Jesus was about what's right, and those people like that are they bring a naturally diverse people together.
Right.
And among those people are a bunch of phonies too. Of course.
Right.
Because there's phonies everywhere. So
right.
Yep.
Because when I think of communism, I just basically think of females in high school, a group of females, right? Whichever female in the group is the prettiest, all the other girls are going to hate on her and gossip about her and call her promiscuous, because women in their nature, they want everyone equal. They don't like one person having God-given talent and being better than everybody.
Yeah.
But men generally are and that's what I see as communism, at the root of it all. But men are the opposite of it. You know, if someone's a star quarterback, we praise him and we look up to him. Or if someone has God-given talent at, you know, like Trump has his God-given talent, you know, we salute that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Isn't that the perfect definition?
It's jealousy, envy?
Yeah, it's just the ways of how females are. They're insecure, so they want everyone to be equal. They don't want anyone to be the prettiest or the best.
Right.
They don't want anyone. They want everyone to be, you know, participation trophies. You know.
Yeah. Right. That is an observation I've heard before, and I agree with it. It's like it's woman-ish, it is satanic, and that's why I've sort of started to stray a little bit away from calling everything communist, although not by much, because it's really at root it's evil.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and evil infects
synonyms to me.
Yeah, evil infects the anti-communists. It infects everybody.
Right.
And you got to really overcome that. Yeah.
Right. Yep, that's what it is. And real quick, you heard about the UFC guy, John Jones, right?
Yeah, the black guy who gave Trump his belt, something like that.
Yeah, gave Trump the belt. He did the Trump dance. He's not even like a real Trump supporter, you know. He's never really, but UFC is basically, that's Trump's. Dana White, those are all the Trump people.
Yeah.
You know, that we're fans of that. But, you know, it's like, you know, he gets a lot of hate because he's like obviously the best of all time at the sport.
Oh, really? John Jones?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. He just has like God-given talent. He's been the best since he was 21. He's like how white people are when it comes to building countries.
Okay.
And so, you know, like, you know, black people and non-white people are jealous of white people that, look, y'all have the best countries. Everybody wants to immigrate here. It's jealousy there. But in the same way that John Jones guy, they hate him because he's like, he can't be beat. He's never been beat.
Wow.
He dominates everybody. And he's a Christian.
Wow.
He's Christian.
Hey.
He has Philippians 4:13 tattooed on his chest. His dad is a preacher. But everybody likes the Muslim guy, Khabib. You heard of him?
Yeah, the Russian Khabib.
Yeah, the Russian, yeah.
I like Khabib.
Yeah, I like him too.
But he's been, and like, Khabib, I feel, I've heard of Khabib. I hadn't heard of John Jones, J-O-N Jones.
More. Everybody likes Khabib. Everybody likes Khabib way more than John Jones for some weird reason.
Has John Jones been around as long? I realize he's 37.
He's been around way longer than Khabib, and he's way better. He's way better than Khabib. He has more titles, but everyone sweeps that under the rug because they're jealous. And there's a communist spirit, even amongst men.
Wow.
You know, even amongst the so-called conservative MMA, UFC fans, they have that communist jealousy spirit. And all the young kids, you know, what's that guy, Sneeko? He's like, they all converted to Muslim, and Andrew Tate, they all want to be like Khabib. They think Muslim is like more honorable than Christianity.
It's not just Khabib. Yeah, I think so because Khabib is just one example.
Right.
But
I like Khabib, man.
I do too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him. I know that he had some hot-headed moment, and Putin told him we act more dignified than that, man. And he's like, okay,
he did. When he beat Conor McGregor, he went a little crazy. And that's when his beta male side came out. Yeah, he basically he went crazy. His anger came out of him when he beat Conor McGregor. But this John Jones, he's obviously like, he's the white people of MMA fighters.
That's funny.
He's a Jordan. He's the Michael Jordan. Okay. Wow,
I didn't know this.
He just has it.
But he's 250 pounds. That's wild. So he's like way bigger than Khabib is. Khabib is how old? How big is this guy? Yeah, he's 154.
Yeah, they're in different weight classes.
5'10", 154.
Yeah, they're smaller, but he has way more championships. He has way more title
6'4"
than him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a bigger guy, but he's been doing it since he was 20. He's like, it's God-given talent.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he even said it in his victory speech. He's like, I don't take credit for all this talent. It's God.
Yeah.
I appreciate Trump because him and Trump are, you know how everybody hates Trump because
Yeah.
he's the best? That's that same hatred they have. That's communism to me.
Okay.
That's the communist females jealousy spirit.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Christianity has become so feminine and nice, and Islam is a little bit tougher and more
masculine.
traditional. And so,
It is.
at least in outward appearance. And so I think that's the reason why people are going towards Islam more than Christianity, because
That's
of
true.
they've turned Christianity girly.
Yeah.
And
And another thing, that guy, John, he has a lot of, like, personal life issues. He's been arrested. He had domestic violence issues. They judge him super hard for that.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of DV. Yeah, what? Go ahead, Khabib. What?
Yeah,
he's more clean.
Khabib is he doesn't even show his wife's face. Talk about head covers with Kelly.
Oh wow.
He doesn't even show his wife's face in public. You know, they're like Orthodox Muslims. You know?
Yeah.
And that, you know, I guess the younger guys see that. They're like, I want to be Muslim, man. Christians are betas.
Yeah.
But it's actually not true. Secretly, it's not true. It's
right.
It's the, you know.
They're looking
Trump.
at outward things rather than thinking for themselves. They're just following men.
Basically. And I used to do that too.
Yeah.
I used to be a liberal, man. You know, I voted for Obama both times.
Wow. Dang.
Both times. 2008 and 2012.
And then what woke you up, Trump or what?
Joe Rogan. I listened
That's
to Joe
funny.
Rogan. Yeah. And then from Rogan, I found Jordan Peterson and Stephen Molyneux and Owen Benjamin.
Okay.
And then I resonated with it because they seem more honest than Rogan. I still like Rogan too.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a little bit more on the left side. But
you just rattled off a whole bunch of my competitors.
Yeah, your competitors. I know. But you know, they're all Stephen Molyneux, and they're affiliated with Jesse. So from through them,
true.
I found Jesse, and that hit it home for me.
Nice. Right on, man.
Yep.
Well, shout out to John Jones. I barely heard of him now.
Yeah, because I think it's a conspiracy. They hate anything Christian and successful, even if you're a black guy.
Yeah, he's a normal black.
He's a race mixer too. He's a race mixer. He acts more like a white guy.
The woman whom he beat up was whom he got in a fight with allegedly. Was she the white?
Fiance.
Was she white?
His fiance. Yeah, she's white. He's a race mixer, like Justice Clarence Thomas. But
is it vulgar to say burn the coal? Oh my goodness, I gotta end.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Oh,
I gotta run,
okay.
man. I didn't realize.
I'll talk to you later.
Take
Bye,
care.
buddy.
All right, bye.
You too, man. Yeah, bye.
Man, Maze, I cannot get to your call. I was looking forward to getting to your call. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy who? Maze, I gotta run. I gotta end on time. Well, it's already not on time. Joel Friday is coming in now. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye. Peace.
Don't take the bait. You know that they are fake. I rest my case. There's no debate. Listen to Hake. He tells it like it should. Them posers wish they could. They roaming around in the ground. Watch out, they lying now. Commie networks, evil snakes. That's why we listen to Hake. Hey, the Hake News.
Bye, guys.